Hi everyone, we will be starting with your Module 10, Discovering the Opportunity for Prevention. Here are your objectives for the session. So the concept of prevention is actually very obvious to each of us, even from our parents. No, we always hear the term na prevention is better than cure whenever we are asked to visit our doctors, right? Hi, but even before we have this very old quote from Lao Tzu, Lao Tzu, way back 600 BC. And it is emphasized in there that the very importance of prevention, that before it moves, hold it, before it goes wrong, hold it, etc. Okay, so basically it's making you see that prevention is really recognized even before 600, 600 BC pa, during those times. Okay, so we have this concept of keeping things neat and tidy. Okay, when we're keeping things neat and tidy, it is somewhat part of your sessions with your parents na sabihin nila, if you're clean, okay, so mas aliwalas tignan, okay, or mas maayos magtrabaho pagka malinis, okay. But then again, beyond those saying na it's better to work if the things are neat and tidy, okay, actually, it's one way of preventing possible errors or possible accidents if in case you're keeping your area neat or you're keeping your area clean. Okay, so we have the so-called term 5S. Okay, I know some of you might heard it before, okay, or you've seen it on posters sa ating campus. Okay, so 5S is actually one way to, or our way to keep things neat and tidy. Okay, this 5S is actually Seiri, Seiton, Seiso, Seiketsu, and Shitsuke. So they are additional Japanese terms that you would be getting from Lean Six Sigma. Okay, so basically, these are steps that are actually linked to provide the tools and materials you need to do for your job. Okay, not only productively but efficiently. Okay, so let's start with the Seiri. Okay? Series actually sort. Okay? So sort encourages you to look at the tools, materials, equipment, or information that you currently have. Okay? And then separate them into those used frequently, occasionally, or never. Okay? So that we would only have in our area those that are used frequently and occasionally. And we would try to relocate the other materials to another area that we never actually used in our current process. Say for example, you can actually do this on your own. I mean, you can do this on your personal work area. Okay? So which will actually be your output for this session. Later I will be discussing your assignment. Okay? So next, Satan. Satan is actually straighten or set in order in other books. Okay, Satan just literally means straightening things up and putting everything you use frequently on hand. Okay, so it actually most of the time um makes you decide how many items you need storing, how they should be stored in anywhere, how where should they be stored, or how should they be stored. Okay, so basically those are the functions of Satan. Okay, then next is Saison, which means shine. Okay, this just means that you have to keep things you use and the environment you work in clean and tidy and appropriately maintained. This includes literally wiping, literally sweeping the floor. Okay. So, in this way, because you are already done sorting and placing, creating labels. Okay, everything is in place. Okay, you can now start cleaning na. Okay, so after cleaning or the shine, the season, you can now go to Seiketsu. Seiketsu is standardized. So this is actually strengthening your approach. Okay, so anything that you do na wala siyang standardization would just result to nothing, because at the end of the day, what matters is how you would be able to sustain it. And you can sustain it if you have standards for it. Okay, so what you'll do is design a simple way of working so that your tools and information stays sorted. Say, for example, may checklist kang check every morning, or di kaya may shadow boards that you would be installing so that you can be reminded that, so these things must be here before the end of the day. Right? So something like that. Okay? Last D is the sustain or the shitsuke. Okay, sustain is making sure that you would be able to um, do it again. Okay? I mean, you would be able to day by day, you have a tracking or monitoring na, or di kaya weekly, you have monitoring if you're able to attain your objective for the standardized. Okay? So, in that way, you would be able to sustain your cleanliness in your specified work area. Okay? So, in reality, okay, these are actually the questions that you can be asking for each phase. In reality, we have 5S plus 1 nowadays. Okay, what's 5S plus 1 means? Okay, 5S plus 1, it includes now the plus S, which is the safety. Okay, these are the steps, the descriptions that I just uttered a while ago. Okay, so we have here the last S, which I actually did not pala. Oh, I did not place pala. So the last S is safety. Okay, we are actually considering placing safety in our work area kasi sabi nila cleanliness without safety is nothing. Okay? Kaya nowadays we're referring to it as 6S. Okay? Safety wherein you are aside from keeping the area clean, aside from sorting, aside from standardizing, you must also be concerned with the safety in your area wherein you must identify if in case you have areas that are prone to accidents or that you'll be engaged to cuts or abrasions, something like that. Okay, so that's the sixth S. Okay, but in the normal talaga, in the Japanese term talaga, it's just 5S. But innovating everything, as we know, everyone. Okay, so we nowadays include the sixth S, which is safety. Okay, next. So, aside from 5S, you can also do with visual management. Okay? So, visual management is actually one of the most used tools in any area. Okay? This just actually makes the cleaning easier. So, in what way, ma'am? Okay? So, here are some example of your visual management. So in here in this area you'll see path. Okay, I mean, diba you're seeing it in airports. Okay, or this way you have concert halls. Okay, so in here you'll see na okay, you have to follow green if in case you're going to the comfort room. You have to follow red if you're into hall 1, etc. Okay, so that's also part of the visual management. Next is these signs. Actually, along with the stoplight, actually, which is the most common visual management, the stoplight. Whenever you're seeing stoplight, you already know that no, you don't have to be oriented anymore. You already know that you should stop in reds. You should slow down in yellow and you should go whenever it's green. Okay? So the concept also goes with the other traffic signs or road signs that you can see, road, street, or building signs that you can see anywhere. Okay? These are all forms of visual management. In this way, you can minimize the scene that you would be asking someone else regarding your um location. Say for example, I'm looking for a comfort room. If in case you're in an area, halimbawa, you're out of the country, okay, you're looking for a comfort room, 'di ba? Sabi nga nila you should have the shirt that you would just point, 'di ba? So if in case the language is different, okay? So this helps in that way. You can just see or using the signs in the area, 'di ba? Whenever you're going to a mall, you can just look at the signs na where is the comfort room. You'll just follow the signs and you'll be led to that. Okay, so yun. So it's good if you have these signs, okay? That way you can minimize the times that most probably you might be looking for something and you can see it. Okay? Next, I hope you can see it. Medyo nakaharang ako. I'll be moving. Ayan. Okay, so next is this one. Okay? So this one, so it's very common, LRT, MRT, okay? So even in, I don't, wala pala sa school. Pero sa malls nowadays, 'di ba, since may pandemic, merong arrow kung saan yung direction here and direction here and you should follow. Okay? And that imagine if tao yung gagawa nun, that would be very troublesome. We also have here footmarks. Okay? So footmarks. So these actually signifies what should be placed and how things should be placed in that area. Okay? So ito yung orientation niya since ganito yung line. Okay? Or ang ilalagay dito ay yung kasya lang dito. Okay? Or ito yung linya and so on. Okay? Mas maayos siyang tignan if your warehouse also has that footmarks, okay, which signifies those that should be placed in there. Next, etong tatlong to, or actually, kasama tong isang to, or actually, um, the common ways of our manufacturing industries nowadays to track their KPIs or key performance indicators. Okay, so well, no, normally when it's green, say for example, this is output, okay? When it's green, it's attained, okay? But if it's red, it's not attained, okay? So in that way, diba, every morning the bosses can just look at it and then they can readily know na okay, kahapon pala ay we're lagged, especially for those companies that they don't have systems anymore. Yesterday we are lagged pala, halimbawa this one. So yesterday pala we do not attain because it's full red. O di kaya these are defects. Yesterday pala ang dami nating defects. Okay? So madali siyang i-track. So this one also for Gantt charting. Okay? And also for building your interrelationship diagrams before the sticky notes methodology. Okay? Next, these are other ways to visually manage. So we have here your um, machine tools. So you can see there if it's not yet returned by the employee, you can readily see it here. Okay? Ito din. So these are parang may shadow board siya. So you'll see yung mga black lang yung meron. So, ibig sabihin, may hindi pa bumabalik sa scenario or hindi pa bumabalik sa system. So, you might actually be assigning your supervisors to check your shadow boards every now and then so that they can be in track. So, syempre, we cannot always buy. Okay? The company would lose so much if we just settle buying again and again. Okay? So, that in that way, you can track your assets. Okay? So, I forgot this one. Okay, this example is actually common to coffee shops. Okay, so you'll see it in their working area. Okay, as a reminder that, say for example, the lid should be this way. not this way, okay? Before serving, okay? Before serving, it must have tissue, it must have straw, etc. Okay, so these are forms of visual management. This is to remind everyone that the things should be placed here, or it should be in this condition, or it should be in this orientation, or it actually remarks you of that it's good, it's not good, or the trends, etc. Okay? So, visual management aims to help people know where they are. So, kaya may signs whenever you're in the road. Highlight important messages and rules about safety and health. Help people know where to find things. Highlight when things aren't where they should be. Identify when things go wrong and what to do. Communicate information about the performance to both staff and visitors. Help people prevent errors and accidents by using the standard colors and help highlight the waste. Okay? So, other than the keeping your area neat and tidy, okay, you can also make use of the other prevention tools and techniques. So we have here this so-called jidoka. Okay? So jidoka is actually a Japanese term again, okay, that actually describes the prevention of defects, and it works on the principle that you should stop whenever you encounter an error. Okay? So that's the concept of the Japanese. They were actually rooting to the idea that you won't be able to do a thorough root cause analysis if you won't be able to stop the line. Your attention would be divided if in case your line is running and then you are actually doing problem solving. You won't be able to check where the error actually occurred. And the tendency is, since you're letting the line run, if in case you're not going to apply this, if you're letting the line run, there will be a high risk that you would be producing items that are actually not good as well, or defective as well. Okay, so the concept of judoka is stop whenever you encounter error, so that you can actually do root cause analysis, or you can address the problem that made this one error happen. Okay, so normally judoka is very much associated with automation. Okay, it's automation with the no term. Okay, automation, this is just simply actually automation with highlighting that no other defects would pass after this. Okay, applying automation in such a way that it can really track errors, it can really track defects, and it will stop automatically. Okay, one great example nowadays is yung ating printers. Okay, diba? If ever there's no ink anymore, the printer would stop, diba? Would stop. O di kaya paper jam. The printer would stop. Okay, hindi yung sa dulo mabibigyan tayo na nagprint siya nang wala palang piniprint kasi wala na siyang ink. Okay, so automatically, the printer actually stops whenever it needs to be inked. Okay, so that's the concept of jidoka. Next, okay. Another prevention tool is the FMEA. Okay? So prevention tool are meant to prevent the occurrence. That's why the concept of FMEA is actually trying to visualize all the possible failure modes or errors, and then creating a corrective or preventive action na agad-agad before it actually happens. Okay? What happens is that FMEA, you'll be listing all the failure modes, and then you'll be on another column, you would be identifying its effect. Okay? Its effect would be in terms of severity, likelihood, and detectability. Okay, when it comes to severity, it means that how deep or how bad will it affect say for example, it would cost a life. Okay? If this happens, it will cost a life. Okay? So likelihood, so the severity rating is from 1 to 10, with 10 being the disastrous rating. Okay? So again, what happens in FMEA, you have to identify, list down all the possible errors, list down all the possible events that might happen in a particular area, and then you would be rating them based on severity, likelihood, and detectability. Okay? We're done with the severity. Likelihood is how frequent it might happen. Okay? So, say for example, very low yung chance that it might happen. Okay? Or ito naman, almost certain. Medyo, at number 10 or at rating 10, you are sure that it would be happening. Okay? Next is detectability. Okay? In FMEA, it's very essential that we can detect the possible causes of errors. Okay? It's a problem for us if in case you won't be able to see if an error is coming. Okay? That's why the rating 10 is has a descriptor of almost impossible to detect. Okay? So, in that way, you would be prompted na, oh, you have to have a way to detect it. If it's impossible, you have to have a way because we can't be blindsided. We can't stay on the blind side of the scenario, okay? Because we are caught empty-handed if that happens. Okay? So, again, these are your rating scales for your FMEA. And then after that, you would be using this formula. Okay? So, say for example, your severity is 10, rated 10. Occurrence is rated 9. And then your detection is rated 10. Okay? So, 10 times 9 times 10. Okay? So, that would be your risk priority number. Okay? Your risk priority number then was actually used to prioritize the actions that you should be making to your process. Okay? So, say for example, the higher the priority number, the more urgent it should be. Okay? And once you identified, say for example, on this one, the highest is 236. Okay? So, once you identified 236, you must be able to trim the numbers down. And how could you do that? Okay? Looking at the ratings under it, say for example, the highest is detection. Example only. The highest is detection. Okay? So then, you should be able to lower it down. Okay? Attach a detection mode. O di kaya ay lagyan natin ng tao para ma-check. Okay? So, to lower down the detection. Kung detection yung problema. Okay? Severity. So, halimbawa ay makakaputol siya. Makakaputol siya ng parts ng katawan. Kaya mataas na mataas yung rating niya. Okay? You can actually make use of guarding, machine guarding, o di kaya ay lalagyan nyo ng cage, okay, para hindi siya talaga makaka-interact, hindi siya makakaputol ng kamay, and so on. Okay, so, yun. You have to be very mindful kung saan yung matataas para mapababa nyo siya. And after that, so, lalagyan nyo siya ng actions, and then, i-re-assess nyo uli yung rating niya on the next columns. I-re-assess nyo kung napababa nyo. And then, kung napababa nyo na, you can now go to the other RPNs that are quite high. Okay? So, again, actually, it's hitting two birds in one stone. It actually makes you identify the possible errors, and at the same time, it actually gives you the prioritization tool to address your possible problems. Okay? So, that's FMEA. So, next. Next is Pokayoke. Okay? So, Pokayoke is actually a Japanese term ulit. Okay? This is error proofing. So, ang concept kasi ni Pokayoke, so, if ever daw itong triangle 1-100, 1-10-100 rule, if ever you actually encountered your error in the design phase, okay, that will just cost you, halimbawa, $1. Okay? But if you encountered your error in na papunta na siya sa customer, okay? So, $10 yon. And lastly, kung na-encounter mo siya, na ginamit na siya ni customer and nasira siya, okay, that would incur you failure cost, okay? And that will incur you so much larger kasi papalitan mo yun, of course. Papalitan mo, tapos kailangan mong bigyan ng incentive si customer afterwards. Ay, so yun. That will incur a lot of cost kaysa kung na-address mo na siya in the design phase pa lang. Okay? So, that's the concept of Pokayoke. So, you would be trying to error-proof everything in terms of design pa lang. Okay? So, paano siya ini-error-proof? So, we have 3 types of error-proofing. We have contact error proofing. Contact error proofing means altering the physical design. So, say for example, yung mga common natin, yung sa plugs, okay? So, if in case you're using a plug with grounding, you cannot directly attach it to a socket na walang grounding as well. Okay? Another one, yung sa SIM card ninyo. Okay? SIM cards, diba? Alam mo agad kung ano yung orientation niya pag baliktad yung placement mo because the area itself or the bin that where you should actually be placing it actually has the embedded size of the right orientation. Okay? So that's contact error proofing. Next is fixed value error proofing. Okay? So this actually identifies when a part is missing or not in use and essentially ensures appropriate quantity. Okay? So a great example is yung if in egg trays, actually common siya sa egg trays. Okay? So pag hindi complete yung egg trays, so ibig sabihin kulang yung material. Okay? So yun, fixed value error proofing siya. Next is motion step error proofing. This automatically ensures that the process operator has taken the correct path or number of steps by possibly breaking a photocell light sensor, okay, halimbawa or stepping on a pressure sensitive pod during the assembly cycle. Okay, so in that way we would be sure na execute ni operator. Okay? So very classic example is how spell checkers in our Word documents provide automatic warnings when words are spelled incorrectly. So we always have those red lines underneath the word that is spelled incorrectly. But nowadays, more than spelling, diba? Even the sentence construction, they are actually trying to highlight or show you that your sentence is made wrong. Okay, so these are the 3 types of error proofing that you can actually imbibe in your process. So, profiting from preventive maintenance. So, preventive maintenance, as we've known, is placing action before it actually happens. This is commonly known whenever you're doing, in cars, diba? So, we have, okay, JUCO na for PM, preventive maintenance. Okay? But, sabi nila, as a company, so we don't really profit from preventive maintenance because it just makes you repair something that is not needed. Okay? Actually, sabi nila, it's contradicting. Okay? But, in reality, diba, we can actually go back to the concept of 110, 100. Okay? So, if in case we would settle to be surprised, okay, surprised in our everyday life, okay, na we won't be applying preventive maintenance. We would, say for example, for our cars, okay, we would just be surprised that one day our batteries won't work, or we would just be surprised that one day our tires won't be functioning anymore. It would just blast off. And it will probably cost you a life if that happens, okay? But that's why preventive maintenance is actually there, okay? It actually makes you recognize the error prior to making it happen, okay? So in that way, you would be able to stop possible stoppages in the line or stop possible defects that might occur in the line, okay? So that's actually more than the normal profit. Okay? You can really profit well if your line is doing well. Okay? And one way to ensure that your line is doing well is using preventive maintenance or scheduled preventive maintenance. So long-term benefits of preventive maintenance improves system reliability. So meaning you won't be afraid if in case your system can't do the work, or tomorrow you're sure that your system would work. Okay, so that system reliability, decreased cost of replacement. You won't be expediting your materials. Sample ay nasira si bearing. Your supplier is coming from out overseas. Okay, the tendency is since you're expediting a material, it would cost more. Okay, so kasi you would pay for special shipping, etc. Okay, so that would cost you more. Okay, so you can decrease that possibility and then decrease system downtime, which will of course cost you possible loss of profit. Okay, and then better spares inventory management. Avoiding peaks and troughs. Okay, so we have this so-called Heijunka. Okay, Heijunka is the underlying concept of Toyota production system. So which is actually coming from the TPS na 'di ba dalawa 'yon, si Jidoka at saka si Heijunka. Okay? So Heijunka involves smoothing, processing and production using leveling and sequencing. So we have actually three tasks under Heijunka. We have leveling, sequencing and stability standardization. Under leveling, this involves smoothing the volume of the production in order to reduce the variation. So this technique actually seeks to prevent end of the period peaks, or you'll be surprised na merong mataas dito and then sa una mababa and then sa dulo mataas. Okay? So that's leveling, level, same level. Okay? Sequencing involves mixing the kinds of work process. For example, when setting up new loans, the type of loan being processed is mixed better to match the customer demand and help them have what they prefer. Okay? In that way, you would be able to have easier flow. Okay? So, you can also have your buffer. Also, example, whenever you're ordering in fast food chains, diba? Okay? So, sequencing also is very helpful. So, in that way, you would be able to really provide the customer the mix that they would be preferring. Okay? Next is the stability and standardization. Stability and standardization seeks to reduce variation in the way the work is carried out, highlighting the importance of following a standard process and procedure. So this technique actually links well to the concept of process management and the control plan, where the process owner continually seeks for to find and consistently improve the process or find the best practices. Okay, so again, these are what Heijunka is all about. That's leveling, sequencing, and stability and standardization. So, honestly, hindi nyo naman ma-apply si Heijunka overnight. Okay? So, even si Toyota has spent so much, okay, for applying Heijunka. Okay? So, in keeping your things balanced, you might make use of the mura and muri concept. Okay? So, another Japanese term. So, Mura is actually unevenness in an operation or tries to the waste of unevenness in your operation as seen here. Okay, so you can see here yung isa magaan, yung isa mabigat, kaya siya natatagalan. Okay, and muri, okay, actually means overburdening the equipment in some way. Okay, so considering mura and muri in the concept of maintaining a smooth level flow of a transport depot, for example, so you have several 3-ton trucks, but you need to transport 6 tons of material to your customer. So you have 4 options. Example, okay? So all 6 tons on one truck. So Muri and the probable broken axle. Then 4 tons on one and 2 on the other truck. So ito naman, Muri, Mura, and Muda as well. Okay? So imagine if you'll do that. So, 2 tons on 3 trucks. Ito muda naman. Okay? Sayang naman yun. Okay? And then, lastly is 3 tons on 2 trucks. Okay? Ito naman, Muri, Mura, and Muda free na. Okay? If you'll do that. So, this last option is actually the optimal way of delivering the material to your customer. It actually uses an evenly distributed approach, no waste, no muda, and shocks aren't overburdened. Okay? So, that's the concept of avoiding these sabi nila, three deadly words in the Japanese manufacturing. These are muda, mura, and mori. These are what you should be avoiding to your manufacturing system. Okay, so we're done. For questions and clarifications, I would be um, expecting them to be on our MS Teams. Thank you and good day.